Hi YouTube. So, Mom, Dad, I have to talk to you real quick. I've been searching my soul, everything. It's been pretty tough too because I've had to come to terms with a reality that was far different from other people and what they've experienced. I had to look and really ask myself a lot of hard questions. It's been really rough too, because at times I just didn't want to deal with it, and I don't think I can hide this anymore. Mom, Dad, I'm gay. Now, those 4 words, or it could be Mom, or it could be just Dad, but those 2 words, I'm gay, can really set off a firestorm. And some people have found different ways to do that. Some by letter. One young man decided to write a letter, and his family was okay with it. Ari Gold, a Jewish R&B singer, did the same. Actually, he actually read his aloud, and his parents said that we're sorry for what we've put you through. We're sorry that you felt as if you weren't good enough because you're gay. And I remember watching Glee. The coming out scene there was like really so trivial, and it is very trivial. It only has the rip effect, if you will, of what you assign to it. Now, some people will say homosexuality tears apart families. No, it's not true. Homophobia is what tears apart families. A person being gay doesn't change anything other than you now know. And oftentimes, you may, quote, lose friends if they were never your friends in the first place. You may lose family. They're not real family then. If they can't accept you as you are, even if they don't, quote, accept homosexuality, if you treat me right, I'll treat you right. And if you don't, you know what? I'm going to let you dish yourself the death blow. I'm going to let you hurt yourself so much more than you could ever hurt me, or I could ever hurt you. I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to touch you because you're a piece of shit. And I can't polish a turd, no matter how hard I try. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to let you dig your own grave. So that's how I feel about that part, about homophobic family members who may just want to write me off. Go right ahead. Pick up that pencil and write me off. You're doing me a favor. So those words can be very devastating to a parent, because some of them say, I taught you better. That's the last thing you should say to your son or daughter. Because if you taught them truth and love and courage and how to do the right thing, by that definition, you've taught them well. And by them coming to you and coming out to you, they're telling you that this is my truth. And I'm being courageous enough to tell you, and I want you to know who I really am, as opposed to being in love with some other version of me that's not real and is not authentic to me. So that's another part about it. Some parents think that their kids are gay because they're bad parents. That's not an indictment on you. It's not an indictment on anything that you've done as a parent. It's simply a reality of life. I do believe there's a biological explanation for homosexuality. I don't think that if it was a choice, then I must have my gay contract somewhere, so I could, because I definitely signed up for a life of discrimination and how hard it is. But another part of that is, that's why they need you. That's why your kid, your son, your daughter need you, because when they face that discriminatory world out there, they're going to need someone to come home to and vent about it. With the It Gets Better project, there were some well-meaning straight individuals who said, go tell your parents. Unfortunately, some people don't even have understanding parents. And some people really don't get it, but there's nothing to get, because if everybody had to get it, we never get racism, we'd never get slavery abolished. We would never outlaw discrimination based on those characteristics. Another thing is, don't tell them that you're too young to know. I may be young, but I'm not stupid. That's one thing that I tell people. I'm young, not stupid now. That's the worst thing. I think that's the worst thing. The worst thing you can do is pretend as if your son or daughter doesn't know a thing about this. Truth be told, you, by saying that, prove that you know nothing, because you've never had to do such an intense search of yourself in order to find out the truth about yourself. In that regard, there may be some other things that maybe you had to really question yourself about, but something like this, where the moment you tell someone you're gay or lesbian, that can open up, that could end up pretty bad, or could end up with you being evicted or being discriminated against unfairly, they need all the support that they can get. Don't tell them I raised you better than that, because that, well, I addressed that. Don't tell them that I'm never going to have grandchildren. It's not about you. Coming out is not about you. It is, but it is about you, but it's not about you. It's about your son or daughter being authentic to who they are and letting you know that that's who they are. It is also about you not having an illusion of who they are too. When I came out and then went back in and then came out again, somebody said, well, you know how the church feels about it, but I feel like I'm getting to know the real Terry. And I was kind of like, wow, that's jarring, but in a good way, because I was hiding my true self. I wasn't ready to explore that. I wasn't ready to be comfortable in my own skin at that point. And now that I'm a lot more comfortable in my own skin now, I feel that I am so much richer, than I used to be, because I'm able to enjoy myself. I'm able to, even when I'm at work, even though I don't feel as if I can kind of, just drop my guard completely, at least they know. At least I'm not going around during the daytime shouting, you're going to hell, and then at night, or what is it? I had a rhyme about it. Dissing in the daylight and spooning in the night or something like that. But but a lot of times that's how it is. But the one thing that a parent needs to do is, now you need to become the student. You need to discard everything you thought you knew about your child, your son, your daughter, and let your son or daughter become the teacher now. If you don't understand, or if you don't know, or sometimes it goes a little more smoothly for some than others. Sometimes you'll think about, well, what if he gets AIDS, especially if it's a gay man, if you have a gay son. But understand that that's when you need to have a talk. Or hell, you need to have the talk at 5, I think. Well, not 5, maybe 8. I would say 8 or 10. By 12, they're already doing stuff anyway. So at least 8 or 10, 8 to 10. You should have a small discussion with them about that. But the worst thing I know a parent could do is say, no, that's not you, I can't accept it. The worst thing they can do is be resistant. But then again, that's that's the natural thing to do. Because it's something that where you can say, well, they'll have a hard life. Well, life is hard. They'll have it a little harder because of the bigots in the White House. Well, in that case, there are bigots in the White House, but the president isn't one of them. But especially in the halls of Capitol Hill and the Senate, we definitely have a lot of them there. But the best thing to do is just be understanding and to tell your son or daughter, I don't get this, I'm having a tough time. The best thing to do is just let them know that you're trying too. And I have to say, for a while I gave Daryl's father a really tough time because I thought that he was just one of those same people out there trying to limit my rights. And even though, he's always been nice to me and everything, and even despite his views and everything, but he's trying. He has an awkward understanding of his son and I. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay with that because that's their relationship. And they seem to have gotten a lot closer lately too. But with that, what are some of the things that your parents may have told you that was the worst thing to tell you at the time? One of mine was that, but you haven't had sex with a girl yet, how do you know? I could see if he'd been hurt by all these girls, but he never dated, so why is he gay now? I was always gay, I just never told anybody. So rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me, what was your coming out experience? Was it good? Was it medium? Was it bad? What were some of the things that your parents told you? If they're not okay with it, did they at least come to an understanding that that's who you are and that's not going to change? Did they ever, or did they simply just say, you know what, you've changed and I'm not going to deal with you? Did they say some good things like, you know what, okay, that's fine, we're gonna get through this and we're gonna be there for each other? That's a bit idealistic, but let me know what happened in your coming out experience. Let me know if you had something to change. What would you change about that? What would you have wanted to tell your parents? How would you have come out if you were outed? What would you like to change about your coming out experience if you would change a thing? So I'll see you later, YouTube. Bithead85.